Hi Patreons, if you're watching this on the replay, thank you for your continued support. You freaking rock! If you stop and really think about it. Right.
They do, very much.
Those big mice are moving around. Right.
We heard them doing a lot of squeaking earlier.
Yeah. And we do mean S-E-X. Sammy's in the house. Sorry, our stream went down. We don't know why. We just got chucked off. Very rude. DJ Cat's in the house. Rusty Can. Vegan Realist is back. G'day, Jet. Sorry, we got kicked off. We don't know why. It just chucked us off. YouTube, you just chucked us off for some reason. Can you have a word with your underlings, please, YouTube? Lorraine Edie's in the house. Carl Davies. Yep, we're back. Perpetually annoyed. Compassionate vegan. Hey, Hench, did you end up listening to Let Me Go? No, I didn't get round to it. I don't know what happened. What happened? We have so much to blink and do all the time. Let me make a note of that and definitely listen to it this time.
Sorry about that loud crash I just made. I'm so clumsy. He'll tell you I'm such a clumsy person. Try real hard to be like quiet and things, but I just crash around, make all kinds of noise.
All kinds.
Yeah.
What was the artist's name again? It was 2 letters, wasn't it?
Like DL or something?
Don't just make it up.
No, I think it was.
Vegan Cap Libertarian. Kindly donated $4.99. Thank you so much, my friend. Oh, NF, that was it. Let me just. Right. Make sure I check that out this time, whatever happens.
Okay.
Vegan Cat. Hey Hench, so if a recipe calls for oil specifically, what could I use for a substitute? If it's for cooking with, then we just saute in like a little water. I mean, you can use stock. You can use things like wine and things as well if you really want to, but typically we just use water or stock. If it's in a recipe, then it's not so easy. Not, you know, if you want to eat whole foods, just some things can't really be done. A lot of raw desserts, they use coconut oil because that's quite firm at room temperature. Not in the summer, it's not.
Really depends on the recipe, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like if it's hummus, you can put tahini in instead of oil, you know, so...
Yeah, just double down on that.
Let us know if you've got a specific recipe in mind. If it's for like, say, coating things so they don't stick, you can use like silicone cookware, you can use non-stick pans, ceramics. Yeah, you can steam or boil or poach.
Steam.
Instead of other things.
What if a recipe calls for oil in the recipe? There's not a lot
What have
you
you
can
got
do.
in mind there?
Like cakes and the like, it's not really...
Oh, so just don't make that recipe. Say if it's like a birthday cake
I
or
hope
something,
that helps.
Don't make it and look up Whole Foods cake, oil-free or something. And there's loads of recipes. I've been researching for this book that I'm writing, Whole Food Desserts. And you can just use like nut butters, you know, flax eggs, mashed up bananas, applesauce. There's all kinds of like wet ingredients you can use instead of oil. Loads of different things. So if this recipe that you're looking at is too hard to just take the oil out, I say just find another one. Look one up.
You're very welcome, my friend, and thank you for your kind donation. Whereabouts in the States are you, and how's the vegan scene there? I'm intrigued. Compassionate vegan, kind soul that he is. He's always really lovely to us. Collie donated $4.99. Having a lot of benefits of hawthorn berries. What's your thoughts on that? What's your take on the berries? Are they good for cardiovascular health? I've never heard of them, I'm afraid. I've never heard of them. You know, but any whole plant food is pretty much guaranteed to be good. Whether it's particularly better than something else. Amla, Indian gooseberries, they're particularly good for cardio health, but a lot of whole plant foods are very protective, and then even the ones that aren't particularly protective, like they don't have special properties, you know, that make them extra special at lowering your risk for like heart disease and things. At the very least, they displace like animal foods and processed plant foods that would cause detriment, is really what I'd say. But no, I've never heard of those, in all honesty. Let me just run a quick little search. I'm always interested to hear about new things. So thank you, Compassionate Vegan. Hawthorn berries. Oh, they look like rose hips. Are they rose hips?
Sometimes foods have like two names, don't they?
Yeah.
Maybe they are.
If they're rose hips, which is what we call them in the UK, they are the highest antioxidant. No, they can't be the highest antioxidant berry because amla is. It must be like the second highest or something. Or is it that amla powder is like concentrated perhaps? And that's a whole food? I heard that they were the highest antioxidant fruits. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're good. Does anyone know, are they the same as what we call rose hips? Good question, Compassionate Vegan. I'm sorry I didn't have a definitive answer, but I'm going to look into that. That's very interesting. Oliver Brown, Hench, I'm in a sticky situation. One of my best mates is having a party for his birthday and he's doing a barbecue. Being around meat really bothers me, so I don't know what to do. I'm the same way. We've just not been to anything like that, have we, in the last few years?
Yeah, you've got a few options, haven't you? Like, you don't go and you sort of say why, or you go and just sort of get on with it, or maybe you go and you exclude yourself while people are eating, or from where they're eating, or...
That's a bit hard when it's a bloody barbecue though, isn't it? Because it's like an ongoing thing. Yeah, I feel your pain.
Maybe you take a load of vegan stuff, if you can stand to do this option, like take a load of real good vegan burgers and hot dogs and say, oh, can you cook these before meat goes on, please? Like, is that possible? Or if you're comfortable with that even,
or whatever.
However you want that to be done. And then maybe they're out, you may bring more than you need, and they're out as an option, and people might get chatting to you about it or taste them accidentally and, oh, this is nice. And I don't know, maybe you can help to spread the message a bit at that kind of event.
I do understand though. We sort of excluded ourselves from eating with meat eaters a few years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, then you can't be a positive influence. So
but yeah, we do realise we kind of shot ourselves in the foot, but we just don't want to see that and then be reminded what's going on, and everyone's like just like oblivious to it all. It just really pees me off, and think how that product ended up there, like what that animal had to go through. Like, yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it's not easy, is it? I think you've got to do what's right for you. There's not really a right answer in this situation, is there really?
Yeah, I think you've got to do whatever you've got to do, and then just explain yourself if needs be. You know, the way I guess to say is, like, if they're not very understanding, like, would you want to come somewhere where they're eating cats and dogs and sit next to it and have to look at that? Like, it's the same thing, but my circle of compassion's just less, what's the phrase? Hypocritical than yours. Don't use those words, probably. Yeah, I feel your pain. 49ers fan. I do eat strawberries a lot. They've just come into season in the UK, and I've been smashing in punnets, or sort of double punnets of them of an evening. In fact, I wouldn't mind some for tonight.
There was no berries at the local shop.
No berries.
Only blueberries. I got you a punnet.
Yeah.
That's all they had.
Blueberries are good, but they're a bit more calorically dense, so I don't get to eat so many.
They were really out of a lot of stuff at the local
I wonder
shop.
whether they may have been restocked. It's Sunday though, isn't it? Don't know what difference that makes. Bleebs will do it though.
Yeah.
D Sharp is in the house. Will berries have high antioxidants generally? Yeah, all the berries are very high in antioxidants, some more than others. Of the locally available berries, blackberries are the best ones for us. Of course, you've got acai and you've got Indian gooseberries, but they're horrible. Acai's nice. Yeah. And then people think like blueberries are high in antioxidants, and they are relative to other foods. But amla is actually 200 times more antioxidant rich, believe it or not. Right, where's... Oh, it's jumped. Oh, it's jumped. I don't know where I am. Just looking more for questions so I keep up with the stream a bit. Fat Vegan, hi Hench, did you hit the like button? I actually did. I noticed that some of you haven't hit the like button. I'm watching you. I know who you are. Marie Exo. I'm literally the only vegan in my friend group, and it's hard choosing a restaurant when we want to eat out. Yeah, it's a pain, isn't it? It's a real pain. Will, I often bring my own food too and compensate for the stigma by being nicer and more down to earth than people expect. That'll do it. Jeff, just stay home and eat an apple. It's hard, isn't it? Like, we are social creatures, so we don't want to be it's like self-ostracised. Like, it's that's crazy.
Someone asked us a question yesterday about did we change our friends when we went vegan, and we didn't purposefully do it, but like we stopped wanting to go to restaurants, you know, like steakhouses and all these places with loads of meat and, you know, things like Middleton's, and there was all these events, and we stopped going, and then just your circle of friends starts to sort of change a bit. We went to the vegan meetup group in Norwich, went to meals with them, people kind of like more, other friends less, who were going to places we didn't want to go, and yeah, things just kind of changed.
Just naturally, organically sort of happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
EJV, what would be bad about drinking alcohol, like about a few beers daily on a well-balanced plant-based diet? You raise your risk for certain cancers, particularly like stomach cancer. You'll be feeding pathogenic gut bacteria and killing your good bacteria. So for me, it's one of the last things I'd put in my body personally, particularly knowing how important the gut microbiome is. It's kind of your potential for good physical and mental health. It's to be taken very, very seriously. Basically, we want to smash in foods with fibre in, and we want to limit or avoid foods without fibre in. And of course, alcohol's got no fibre. It messes with your hormones as well, like raises your estrogen, which is why some men who drink a lot have a nice pair of boobs and a muffin top, and potentially look like they're pregnant. It's not. We say about phytoestrogens, and we say, oh, they're not that bad, and in fact they're protective. Well, hops are so rich in phytoestrogens that actually that can do damage to your hormonal profile. It's funny, isn't it? Like, you got meat eaters saying, "Oh, don't drink, or don't eat soy because that'll give you boobs." Yet they drink milk, which has got mammalian estrogen, and they drink beer, which is, whereas the soy is actually protective. It blocks mammalian estrogen from doctoring the receptors. It's just it's crazy. What's some more questions? Carl Davies, on the smoothie train at the minute, anything you shouldn't blend? Alcohol, cigarettes, hand grenades, razor blades. No, we're with the whole plant foods. The data suggests that you actually release more nutrients by blending. The only thing I will say about smoothies, and again it relates back to the gut microbiome, if you whiz everything up and you break down all the cell walls, you're basically ripping through the fibre, and then you're going to absorb more of the foods into your bloodstream, and there won't be so much left over from the small intestine into the colon where your good bacteria live. So your good bacteria could be kind of starving. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts. I have a smoothie a day, typically, and so 3/4 of my meals are like solid intact foods, and then I have one smoothie. Probably Snot Pills is in the house. Colin has cuties, that's nice. Goats in the house. Compassionate Vegan, they're part of the same family but not the same berry, right? I get ya. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they're great in that case. Right, where was I?
You've had a super chat.
Super chat. Compassionate Vegan kindly donated $1.99. Thoughts on therapy for mental health?
Do it.
Beam. I'll leave you to field that one. Do you mind if I nip to the loo quickly?
Oh, sure.
You've probably got a bit to talk about there, have you?
Yeah, I could talk for ages about this, but I won't talk too much about it. Some of you might know I studied counselling. I did a counselling course a year ago. I studied for 2 years. I've had my own counselling for like 3 or 4 years now, and yeah, it's for mental health. It's amazing. The only thing that might be as good, potentially, or good in a different way, I think is like maybe meditation. But I think that's also awesome for mental health. But yeah, counselling, it's good on so many levels. Like, it gets you in touch with yourself and your emotions and the pain and things that you're like avoiding. It can be like what's called like reparative. So any developmental deficits. So when you're growing up, if you didn't get enough encouragement or support or various different things, like if there's deficits there, it's like part of you doesn't grow up. Your emotional self kind of can remain like a child. And then you go and see a counsellor who's empathetic, nurturing, non-judgmental, warm, all these great things. It's kind of a bit like they reparent you in a way, or in some ways that you need, which is amazing. What else they do? They help you to learn about yourself. They can be real experts on different mental health conditions and the best ways to go about healing certain things. There's so much to know. I studied for sort of 3 years in total. I was studying for, and I barely know the tip of the iceberg of it. There's a lot to know about humans and why we are the way we are, the way our minds work, our emotions work, and like Paul will talk about,
hello.
If you want to go to the gym, start out by getting a program from someone. That's like a cheat code. Get all their knowledge that they've spent ages like learning, so you know that you're doing the correct form and all that. It's kind of like that, I think, with mental health. If you want to set about healing something, go and see an expert, even just for a little bit of time, and they just give you some of the great tools to use and ways to go about healing. Yeah, I can't rate counsellors highly enough, personally. I really think that they're worth their weight in gold, and they're not all the same. They've all got different levels of training and in different types of counselling. So if you go with one and it doesn't really feel quite right in some way, just try another. Don't be afraid to leave and see a different one.
How many different modalities are there?
I think there's about 200 now or something.
Oh God.
There's some that are more based on somatic therapy, like based on the body and feelings in the body. Some they look more at the past. Some more look at the present. There's all different types. So, and it, for the layman, would that be the term?
Yeah.
It's not. You don't have to know the types or anything. You just, you can just you can Google it a bit if you want to look into a bit of what type to see. There's a lot of breakdowns of that online, or you can just go see someone, try it out, and just see if it feels right for you, like the right fit.
I like the idea of the integrative approach, because then they've got more tools.
Yeah, that's the training that I did. So you learn a bit about all the modalities. So and then from there you work in the way that is right for you from all of those. But you know a bit about all of them. So if a client comes and say they're a little different in some way, like they're on the autistic spectrum, like I might normally not think, I'll work in a CBT way, but I might think, with this client maybe that's a bit more applicable, then we'll be able to connect easier and I'll be talking more on their level, or I don't know, there's all different ways that can suit different people.
Good words.
Thank you.
Jack kindly donated $5.99. Cheers. There's a little pair and he's doing a cheers.
Oh, you've gone down to, you had another one as well.
Oh.
So you've got, that one, and he had another one.
Ooh. Jack, you are so kind. Kindly donated another $5.99. Thoughts on stimulants like guarana? I don't really know a lot about it. I've had that before in something else. I think that might have been years ago in like a Boost bar or something ridiculous, something non-vegan. I don't really know. I've not really looked at a lot of science. I do use maca. I quite like maca. So that's one of those kind of adaptogenic compounds. and also some of the medicinal mushrooms. What would be the performance one? Not sure. I don't know a whole lot, but as long as they're not like a sort of unnatural like caffeine where you kind of got to pay that back, like that's I don't like that. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm sorry, you just donated a load of money as well, so I feel bad not having much of a perspective for you. It's not something I've really looked at. I used to smash in loads of stimulants, and then in recent months I've just tried to, you know, particularly caffeine, I had to give up. That was really doing me a lot of harm. But I can't say I noticed much off the old guarana when I had it, and then ginseng as well. Didn't really notice anything. I think you're better off eating a whole foods plant-based diet, sleeping well, and not getting stressed. I think that's so much better. And you know, strong stimulants like caffeine, I'm better off avoiding them. I have more energy when I have no caffeine for a while than, you know, getting loads of it in me. It's robbing Peter to pay me. Give us your money. Thanks for that. You're very kind. Chris Grant. No, this isn't our moderator, Chris Grant. This is another Chris Grant.
Oh.
And he's kindly donated $10. No question, just supporting his local neighbourhood vegan YouTubers. And there's a flying pear, like a superhero pear. And I did see you said something earlier, didn't you? Oh, hello from Florida. Oh, I'm very jealous. I would love to visit Florida. I love you guys. We love you too. You're so kind. Have you? Well, I've not noticed a second Chris Grant in here before. So have you been in here before? Or is this your first time in the live stream? And how's the vegan scene where you are particularly? I imagine it's pretty good. Most of Cali, is it? Soy the boy, do you have any advice for chronic fatigue? So whole foods plant-based diet, avoid stress, avoid stimulants. You know, when you're tired, be kind to yourself and take a rest. Licorice root can help repair adrenals, can't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you got things to say?
Yeah, I've on and off had chronic fatigue for like over a decade, and diet helped me the most. So I changed my diet and my lifestyle, cut out stressful jobs, I would get as much sleep as I needed, and I had the luxury of not having to have an alarm. So at first I was sleeping for 12 hours for a very long time, maybe years, would you say?
Yeah.
And then it went down an hour, and you know, here and there, and now I sleep about 9 hours, but I sleep as much as I need to, and that's really helped me a lot. I don't take so many daytime naps and things now, like I just sleep a real solid amount at night. But I got so far with diet and lifestyle, and then I realised I had to start looking at like my mental health and past trauma. So they say like your body keeps the score, like there's a book about that, it's really cool. So like trauma can be like stored within the body, so sometimes fatigue can be about, you know, burning out your adrenals from caffeine or like stress and things, but sometimes it can be about past trauma. And so if you eat a really clean diet and do all the other great things, but you're still really fatigued, it can be helpful to see a counsellor. A Gestalt-based counsellor can be excellent because they help you to really get in touch with your body and to really like communicate with your body and to see like what's happening, and is it giving you a message, or is there something that's like stuck from the past. So like a trauma that's like a skipping CD, and you need to go back to that and like slowly over time to get in touch with those feelings, be present with them, release something that's there. Yeah, that's some kind of work that I've been doing.
What's the name of the book?
The Body Keeps the Score. I don't know if it might be
Who's it by?
I don't know.
Not Katie Boyer, isn't it?
No. I used to have it. I don't know if it might be a little bit of a difficult read if you're not used to reading books about psychology and counselling. I don't know. I found it a little bit more of a challenging read, that one. Yeah, there might be easier books to read about that kind of thing.
And as well, like just general kind of lethargy. I think being stuck in a life you don't enjoy as well.
Oh yeah, so much.
I think if you can find your purpose and like live your purpose, like it can just bring you like energy.
Yes, that's so true. Yes, I heard someone say that their view was that chronic fatigue was about chronically doing things that you don't want to do. And that makes sense in a way, because when I watch Paul, when he's living his purpose, it energizes him. He's like tooth drumming, and like he's full of,
You better explain tooth drumming.
just like, how do I explain that?
Don't know, I sort of do a beat on my teeth.
Or he'd be like tapping his leg or like something, you know. And you can see the energy in him. He feels so passionate and alert. But the second he can be doing it till really late at night. The second he says, "Oh, I better stop doing that and wind down for bed," he comes away from that and he starts yawning and he's tired. So yeah, doing your passion really brings you energy. And you know, if you have to do something you don't like, you've got to go and clean the bathroom or like just some crappy old thing. Like you feel like and like. Yeah, tired, you know, like with it. So
wasn't it interesting when you got like, you know, I know you're not totally recovered now, but you got hugely better from the nutrition and the lifestyle stuff.
yeah,
And then there was this last sort of small percent of feeling a bit naff.
yeah,
And so Gemma was waiting to follow her sort of dream. She was waiting to feel better before she did that, because she thought,
Yeah.
if I start this learning about this psychology stuff, like what about if I can't, you know, make it to the class all the time because I'm too ill?
yeah.
But finally
Just
starting
went
it,
for it, didn't I?
yeah. And then what happened?
And then I just started feeling like better, like more energized and more well. So it wasn't that I should wait to follow my purpose until I feel better. I should follow my purpose to feel better. That was
So yeah, I think that what we're trying to say is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual mumbo jumbo, if you believe there may be such a thing. If you don't, I will ask you to prove there's not such a thing. You can't do it. I'm not saying that there is. I'm not saying that I believe or don't. I think there's probably a bit more going on than what we can see, touch and hear and feel though. But it's all one. It's not just connected, it's one thing. If I tell you you've just been burgled, immediately your heart rate goes up, you release cortisol, your immune function is dampened. And the minute I tell you, I'm just joking, and immediately, boom, you're relieved and you're relaxed and happy. I heard about some guy and his, in school or in university or whatever, and his lecturer said, no, mental can't affect physical. And so he's replied, you've obviously never had an erection then. Boom.
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, great point. That's what I was getting at as well about like the counselling thing. Like, so if I feel depressed, I always feel exhausted at the same time. They go together, like for me and probably for most people. I don't know anyone who's depressed and who's like full of energy, you know. So your thoughts, your emotions and past trauma and things, they then affect the body and how the body feels. It's all tied in, isn't it? It's all linked.
Yeah, it's all
so
one.
Look at it from all the angles that you can and do all the things that you can.
Yeah.
You've had some more super chats, I think.
Oh, super chat. I bet that's that compassionate vegan again. Yep. $1.99. How did you and Gemma meet and fave memory together?
Ah, that's nice.
I feel like I've explained the first one loads. Do you want to have a go at that? And then I'll try and remember favourite memory.
Okay. How did we meet? So Paul was a doorman at a club. I worked there on the reception, the cloakroom. So we were sort of there a lot together in that same space, weren't we? And I was, how do I say it politely?
Slag.
I was promiscuous, that's the word. I was very promiscuous. That was how I gained my self-worth for a lot of years when I was a lot younger. And it was my birthday coming up, and I said like a loaded question. I said like, it's my birthday next week, what are you going to give me? That was mainly the proper first time we ever spoke, I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I won't tell you what he said, but you can imagine it was quite rude. And I thought.
I also said I'm really effing good at it.
And I thought, yeah, I'm interested. So that happened, and went round his house, and I pretty much didn't really go home after that.
I am that good.
We immediately lived together, really, even though
I like to last a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. just instant connection. Yeah.
Yeah. Favourite memory together? That's a tough one, isn't it?
I was thinking about the night you proposed to me, but that's not a story that we can tell.
Yeah, that was a bit a bit of a funny story. Yeah, that was great though.
That was great.
Yeah, maybe the proposal night. Yeah. Oh, we're going to say the proposal night, but we can't give you any details because I got tuxedoed up. Gemma had a lovely dress. We went for an expensive meal.
But that was around the time when we were still doing drugs, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did a load of drugs.
A lot of drugs. Went to a strip club, loads of bars. Like, it was a long night.
I can't tell you how I proposed, but it was quite unique.
Very unique. Very rude. We could not tell that story on here.
Or you wouldn't want to tell your mum or your granny.
I could not, when I got asked how did he propose, I could not tell anyone that story. Yeah. That was when we were both very different.
Yeah, and that memory is like really important to me because not just for the fact that that's like how we got engaged, but my mum was on her deathbed actually, and my mum was on her deathbed, and we were together for a couple of years, me and Jem, and then we split up for like 4 years. Like we were both party animals, and I was mental, and it was just doomed to failure really. And my mum was devastated because she loved Gemma, and then we started dating again, got back together, yeah. And then I went to see my mum. She was in a home, you know, she was dying, and I told her that I'd proposed, and that really, she was dying of cancer, but all of a sudden she really came alive, and she was in front of my sister to tell her, and like she was so happy, and she passed that night, and it felt like for my mum, like, because she was a proper mum, do you know what I mean? She treated me like a little boy, like until the day she died, and sometimes it was quite frustrating and infuriating, as you can imagine, but yeah, it just felt like she could leave now because she knew I'd be happy and good. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's a really good memory. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, just remembered my potatoes in the oven. I'll be back in a second.
Okay. Great question, Compassionate Vegan. Thank you for that.
Lovely question.
Yeah. Life Q, Connie donated $3.99. You guys are amazing. Looking forward to this. Thank you, my friend. And I saw that you said earlier in the chat that you've sent the money over for the training plans. So thank you, brother. I look forward to working with you. No more plans, people. I've actually quit doing plans now. That will be my last ever one. But I didn't want to let Life Q down because he was waiting to get one from me, and he's been really kind. Okay. Lorraine Edie, go on. We want to hear the proposal story.
No, you can't.
You can't even really hint at it, can you?
No, there's no way of explaining it. You just can't.
The next time we get a $200 donation, I'll tell you the story. But I'll use code words for... Oh, you can't say it,
You
can
can't even say it on here.
Yeah.
It's not YouTube appropriate.
I suppose it's good to have one secret.
Yeah, we share everything else about our lives online, don't we? So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. SM, seems like the way to find a man is being promiscuous. All the promiscuous girls be finding husbands.
In my experience, all the promiscuous girls find one-night stands, and that's all they find, and then they have to keep looking, and they don't find anyone who wants to be with them long term. That was my experience.
Oh, thank you, Lorraine Edie. You're very kind. Yeah, that was a hard thing when my mum passed. a few years ago now, and I was so happy, like being with Gemma, like that was my kind of dream come true. And but I just got into this kind of space where I thought, this is amazing, but it's temporary. You know, my mum just passed, and of course, you know, that's hard. And it was really a year before I really got over the death of my mum. It was just constantly in the background niggling at me, like, don't matter how happy you are. You know, I can't remember what was I a PT at the time, I guess? But whatever it was, business was going well, relationship was spot on, you know, I had great health, like everything was going amazing. But I just thought, not what's the point, but just don't get too comfortable with being happy, because sooner or later you're going to lose like everyone, and everything you know will be dust, you know. And that was hard for about a year I'd say.
Yeah, so sounds like a lot of grief.
Yeah. Boom. Toby Gosling kindly donated £2.99. When are you two coming down to Brighton next? Oh, I'd love to pop down to Brighton. So we've been 3 times for the old Veg Fest.
Yeah.
That's finished now. But I was speaking to Ali Fielding. Excuse me. You know, Piers' daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So she's in Brighton, and she said we should pop down, and she'll take us around all the restaurants. We'll do like a restaurant crawl.
That's nice. I'd love that.
So yeah, maybe we should, maybe in the summer.
If we go to a different town to where we usually live, why
To a
don't we?
meet-up.
Yeah, so I was going to say.
Oh, there'll be loads of vegans, won't there?
Arrange a meet up at a vegan
Yeah.
restaurant or something.
Who? Yeah, Toby. Yeah, I might try and arrange a meet-up perhaps, and come down on a specific day.
We probably can't for quite a while because of.
Oh yeah, the old COVID. Once the COVID thing's
Easy to forget about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't normally really go and do things all that often, I just sort of forget that things have changed.
Yes, pretty much business as usual for us, isn't it? I think the next step here is you can meet 6 people, can you? And soon it'll be 10, or is that coming? I don't know. So I guess we have to wait until larger gatherings are allowed.
Once larger gatherings are allowed, I will announce a meet-up in Brighton. So perhaps you can help me to arrange where's the best place and things like that if you want to.
I heard next month, July, in a month's time, beauticians and restaurants and things might be able to start opening up with if they can have distance and stuff for certain things. So, yeah.
It's a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's really going on for a long time, this whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Jill, Perezza Pizzas, not to be missed. Yeah, we ate in there the last time I was there. It all ended a bit naughty, actually, but it was amazing pizza and amazing food. But it all went a bit wrong. We were with a large group and we didn't know everyone, and some people went early, and I'd already given a really big tip. And then we got told, like the bill's short of quite a lot of money. And I was thinking, I've just been really nice and given a huge tip, and now they want me to pay. Of course, this is what restaurants do, and nothing against them. But I was then left with a big bill, and they said, you're not leaving until you pay it. And my inner warrior really thought, I might put you through the window for that. Luckily, it was just a passing thought, and I have changed, and I was all right. I didn't even kick off. I just paid a bit more money and thought, oh, that was a bit stupid.
We've been caught in that situation many times.
We're too nice.
It's very annoying.
But I didn't like an ultimatum, you're not leaving. I was like, who's going to stop me?
Yeah.
You never grow out of it. It's stupid.
We've sort of
There's
learned
some ego
to really
nonsense.
not be involved in the whole bill if there's a group anymore, haven't we? And just sort of get away and leave it to others, because we've paid more than our fair share many times.
Yeah.
Frustrating in groups.
Healthy herbivore. And yeah, Toby, if you want to chat about that, hit me up if you want. henchherbivore@yahoo.co.uk on the email. And once things are calmed down and we can meet, we'll get that on, because I love Brighton. It's not all that far, is it? Maybe we'll stay over the night, will we?
Yeah.
Yeah, be good. I want to get off non-vegan antidepressants for nerve pain and major depression disorder. Doctor won't let me. I feel so guilty. Please don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
Veganism is not like an absolute. It's not perfection. It's impossible to be perfect in this world. And all we can do is our best. So it's seeking to exclude as far as is possible and practicable. You know, we have a right to health, and you know, I've been through periods of I had terrible gut issue, SIBO, and I was having to take Buscopan, and they have a tiny little bit of lactose in them. And the only other thing was I could have like not really eaten, but I would have been shrinking. I wouldn't have been a good voice for the animals. And I took the executive decision on aggregate. The best thing is just to use these tablets while I need them in order to still be able to like
They
eat
helped you to not be in
properly.
excruciating pain.
And not be in excruciating pain and be avoid. If not, I would have been putting no content out. I would have been shrinking and. Like, I would have been no use
You might
to
have
the
ended
animals.
up in the hospital with the amount of pain that you were in. You were in a lot of pain.
Oh, I was on the floor, like, writhing, wasn't I, at
Yes,
points?
it was very bad.
So veganism is about doing your best. Yeah. I'm sure if you were in some land where there was just, like, animals, you know, grazing on grass, there was no, like, plants that you could really eat and get calories from. I believe it's still vegan to like eat an animal if you have to survive. You know, number one, like, yeah, it's causing the least harm possible as far as it's practicable. But number one, we have the right to life. We have the right to self-defense. So that's my perspective. If anyone's got a problem with that, go on someone else's channel because I really don't care. We too are animals. Like, be kind to yourself. So that's really huge. And then, you know, when you're depressed, it's harder to make the right choices because we comfort eat, like we don't want to potentially exercise. But exercise and nutrition are key to staving off depression. It's not always the answer to everything, but you need to have that there as like a bare minimum. You know, our internal machinery needs to be in good order. So whole foods, plant-based, avoid junk food, avoid animal products. Try to get some movement. You may consider, and I don't know what the legality is in Australia though, because I heard before it was still illegal, and I can't find it.
Find your shaker there.
Oh, CBD oil. I'm sorry if it's not available in your area yet, or maybe you can get it on the black market or something. You may even try buying from Honest Hemp, and perhaps they'd send it. I mean, obviously it's your risk whether it gets seized at customs. 30% off with my code HENCH10, link in the description. Yeah, CBD is illegal and all. I thought it was.
That's some nonsense.
That's some nonsense. In the UK, I mean, we're pretty backwards, but our health service actually prescribes it for certain conditions now, so there's nothing wrong with it.
I have to take thyroid medication because I've got an autoimmune thyroid condition. My thyroid does not produce enough hormones, and before, when I was underactive and things weren't going right, like I was so depressed I didn't want to be here anymore. I did take an overdose a couple of times through like a real bad depression, and my thyroid tablets have a little bit of lactose in, so my options are, like, if you don't have enough thyroid hormones, it affects your mood. That's one of the things that it regulates. So I know that within maybe a week of not being on my medication, I would be desperately depressed. So my choices are currently to take the medication that has a little lactose, or to be really depressed and eventually maybe not want to be here anymore. So for me, I take the medication, you know, and I don't think too much about it. I'm always thinking, right, okay, hopefully soon there'll be more medications that come out that don't have animal products in, because that's the way we're heading, I think, with more and more vegans, for sure. And veganism being protected right now and things like that. So yeah, I say don't feel bad about it. And it sounds like your doctor is thinking about what's best for you at this time, and maybe there'll be a time when you don't have to be on them, you know. I'm sure that it won't be forever, but if it's the right thing for you right now, then that's the right thing for you.
Yeah, don't even give it another thought, or I'll slap you. Kibby Pubs, what a cool name. Donated $5 Australian. Right, I'm not quite sure what you're saying here. Thoughts on OMAD to recover? Mine is very slow. OMAD to me is 1 meal a day. Do you mean your recovery is slow? Mine is very slow. I used to train 6+ hours every day and be fine, MMA and stuff, but 2 hours takes me out for days now. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. Could you please rejig those words for my slow brain, and I will try my best to answer.
Did you miss a super chat, the one above it, or had you read that?
Oh, no. Toby Gosling kindly donated £2.99. Sounds amazing. Picnic in the park. You've got it.
Depends on the
You've
weather,
got it.
is it a bit? But
Well, we'll go when it's nice weather.
yeah, if we're allowed to have group meetups before the winter.
You look like a fish.
Cowboy's here.
Right, Cowboys here.
He's good
He's the best one. Let me just see if Kibby Pops commented again. I wasn't
Why
sure
did you
what
make
they
me
were
look like that?
for fun.
Do it to you.
Right, so we'll keep an eye out for Kibby Pops again, just to see what they were saying about. David Gray kindly donated £1.99. What are your opinions on Huel? I got given some when they first came out. They gave me a load of stuff with it, basically, like a t-shirt and a shaker and just a load of stuff. But at that time, it had added fluoride. It had something from coconut in there, like MCT oil or coconut oil. It had some naughty fats in there. It had carrageenan, which is a class 2A carcinogen. And of course, all the synthetic vitamins and minerals. And if you look at the data, if anything, likely synthetic vitamins and minerals probably do us harm, if they do anything at all. So I'm just not a fan. They may have changed the formula and taken some of those things out, but I know the vitamins are definitely still in there. I'm not a fan. I would make my own drink up with flax meal, ground oats, quality protein powder. I'd make my own with the good whole foods. Kibby Pops. Excuse confusing words. Oh, they kindly donated $5 again. You don't need to keep doing that, you lovely soul. Thank you. Need faster recovery. Do you think 1 meal a day helps recovery? No way. No. Not particularly if you're training multiple times. You kind of need to be drip feeding protein in, I believe. I mean, you can store pools of it. But yeah. I don't know anyone really who does 1 meal a day. I mean, particularly if you're eating a healthy, whole foods, plant-based diet, I don't think you could get enough calories and enough nutrients in that time. Nah, I'm not a fan. I know there is benefits to health, like you go into hormesis and you can reverse DNA damage and things like that. There's definitely benefits to intermittent fasting from a health perspective, but in terms of sports performance, particularly 1 meal a day, I would see that as a detriment personally. Soy the Boy kindly donated £1 Great British pounds. No question, just supporting his local neighbourhood vegan YouTubers out of the kindness of his heart. He's a lovely man. Okay, well that's our hour. I'm going to shoot off now because I need to eat some veggies, and I'm editing a video as well, which I want to get up tomorrow. Guys, thank you so much for joining. I love hanging out with you. We both do, don't we?
Yeah,
it's
nice.
The highlight of our day oftentimes.
Nice bit of connection.
Yeah. Did we have any moderators?
Oh yeah, I saw Purple Pip.
Oh, Purple Piplup
was in here earlier.
Well, thanks for any moderators. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the chats. If you're new here, we'd love you to become part of the Hench Herbivore community. You can do that by hitting the subscribe button, clicking the bell icon so you're notified of new videos.
I know, my video's like
and new
2
live
minutes
streams.
behind. Yeah.
And we'll be back tomorrow 6 p.m. BST with another stream, and we shall also have a video out for you. I'm thinking I'll post it tomorrow. My analytics, there's some new YouTube analytics, and it reckons I should be posting 5 p.m. on a Monday, so I'm going to post actually before this stream. That seems a bit cockamamie though. We think build the room up and then get the good view velocity. I'm not too sure. I'm going to try it.
Why don't you tell people periodically through the stream, can you open a new window?
Yeah.
People on a mobile can't do that though, then.
Yeah.
They? But I don't know.
Anyway, that's enough words, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, if you miss any of these streams and you want to watch the replays, if you've got the link, you can always watch it, but it disappears from my page. But I put it on Patreon. So if you want to become a patron for as little as $1 a month, you can then have the back catalogue of all the live streams. And what else to promote? We're on TikTok now. Yeah. We're on TikTok, guys. Hench_Herbivore.
Post at least something every day on there, don't you?
Yeah, sometimes several things. We do more muck about stuff on there, like pranks. I'm going to start putting out like other like fitness and health, nutrition content as well. But it's mostly pranks and silly things. All good fun. Yeah. I hung out with that cow though. That was a real little moment, wasn't it? I met a lovely, beautiful cow and we had a nice time. And Gemma also, she's trying to grow her Instagram presence. So Gemma_Herbivore on the gram. Guys, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. It's good night for me.
Good night from me.
Good night.